Welcome in to News and Views with Tom Lamprecht. The stories you've heard and the ones you need to hear.
We've had a terrific recovery past this stimulus
to deliver another round of COVID-19 relief.
New active fires.
Police department will continue to serve and protect.
Seen the surge in violence with the defund the police movement.
The suburbs are next.
Suspend Postmaster General.
A double voter knows exactly what they're doing.
Vaccine by the end of the year.
President Trump Nobel Peace Prize.
Your life, your values, your voice. This is News and Views with Tom Lamprecht on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Welcome in. It is News and Views. Tom Lamprecht. Benny Hardy is with me today. Lots to talk about. Benny was just saying as we went on the air, the Democrats' method of trying to win this election is take as much garbage, whether it's true or not, just throw it up against the wall and see if it sticks. And they're at it again today. The Postmaster General, apparently they're accusing him of encouraging people to give to a political party, and they're saying that he said that he would reimburse them. But the big news out today is that Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff, is at it again. Same song we've heard before. The White House, or rather not the White House, the House Intelligence Committee received another whistleblower complaint that the Trump administration officials at the White House and the Department of Homeland Security suppressed intelligence reports related to Russian election interference. This from Adam Schiff. Now, here's the good news. Let me get to the good news first before I get into the story. And there's two pieces of good news. The first piece of good news is the Democrats have got to be scared silly. They've got to be looking at the polls and saying, oops, we're going to lose another one. And therefore, we're going to do anything and everything, no matter how ridiculous it sounds. We're going to say it in hopes that it takes Trump down. That's good news number one. Good news number two is I think the American people are going to see through this. I think anybody that follows the news. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people are out there and they got their heads somewhere else. I'm trying to keep it PG here, Benny. But anybody that follows the news at all is going to look at Adam Schiff and saying, you are such a buffoon.
You know, the surprising thing about Adam Schiff coming up with this again, you know, the last big investigation, impeachment trials, all the polls clearly said America was just tired.
Sick of it.
And now you've got the same narrative.
Same story.
And I mean, to your point about what the Democrats are doing now, their narratives are changing, and it's changing, lining up with the poll data exactly.
Oh, exactly.
And it's just, I don't know how anyone can't see through it in America.
Well, and again, we had a guest on yesterday from the Trump administration, and he was talking about the fact that I brought up the fact that even Al Sharpton is saying don't defund the police, and he immediately said, well, yeah, because the polling. The only reason they're saying what they're saying is because of the polling. In fact, I've got an audio clip. I'll get to it in a second, but I mean, it's Joe Biden is just as bizarre as they come. We'll get to that in a second. I want to finish up on this story, though. So Adam Schiff said, we received a whistleblower complaint alleging DHS suppressed intel reports on Russian election interference, altered intel to match false Trump claims, and made false statements to Congress. This puts our national security at risk. He's added, we will investigate. Ooh, Adam, that's so big of you. But here's what's interesting about it. The whistleblower was acting Undersecretary for Intelligence and Analysis Brian Murphy. Well, I mean, it took me about 30 seconds to look up, okay, why is Brian Murphy doing this? Because you know, and by the way, he is not a Trump appointee. He is a career politician. Well, the head of DHS, Wolf, brought him into his office early in August, about a month ago, and said, we're going to reassign you. Apparently, there were some certain things that happened. Brian Murphy, who served as the acting undersecretary for DHS Office of Intelligence and Analysis, was summoned to acting Homeland Security Secretary Chad Wolf's office last Friday. This is from CNN on August the 1st. as speculation grew that he could be moved out of his role, according to another source familiar with the situation. Murphy is a career official who filled the position after the Senate confirmed Undersecretary David Gall after he left earlier this year. It is unclear what Murphy's next role will be, according to the Washington Post. On Thursday, the Washington Post reported the DHS had sent open-source intelligence reports to federal law enforcement agencies summarizing tweets sent by two journalists, New York Times reporter and a editor-in-chief on the blog Lawfare, who published leaked unclassified government documents while covering the unrest in Portland, Oregon. The collection and dissemination of information on journalists was carried out by lower-level officials acting on broad guidance, the source told CNN, adding that Murphy was not fully aware until after the fact. Wolf, who has led the department in the acting capacity since last November, sought to distance himself from the incident. In no way does the acting secretary condone this practice and has immediately ordered an inquiry into the matter. So it sounds to me, and again, I'm just connecting the dots here, but it sounds to me like this guy Murphy, Brian Murphy, is irritated that a Chad Wolf, who is a Trump appointee to the position and his boss, how dare he come in and move or demote me, Brian Murphy, who is a career guy, and this guy just got here. You know what? Too bad, bud.
And I don't care.
Yeah. So here we've got a quote, a whistleblower that has a vendetta against Chad Wolf and probably Donald Trump and the whole administration. And yet Adam Schiff's going to run with it again. Go, Adam, go. Because as you pointed out, Benny, the American public was sick of it the first time, and they're going to be all the more sick of it this time. And are they that stupid that they can't see through this? That they can't realize that the American people can't see through this?
You know, I'm waiting for someone that are still in their current position and to come up and resign and say, for the good of the American people, I've got to blow a whistle. It's always someone that's been reassigned, fired,
has a vendetta,
a past general that was asked to step down or whatever. Now, all of a
and
sudden,
they're pissed off and they want to get back at him.
They're not at the dance and they want to get back at him.
And one of the reasons why is because this guy, Donald Trump, is from the private sector. This is how the private sector does it. I mean, you know, the guys in the public sector don't realize that in the private sector you get demoted, you get fired, and you also get promoted if you do well. In the public sector, not so much.
That's true.
Joe Biden, this is you talk about throwing stuff against the wall. And that's the theme of Benny named the program, today's program, before we got on there. The theme of the program is Democrats throw it against the wall and see if it sticks. Joe Biden has come out, and now he says he wants to make sure that the police have plenty of money. It's Donald Trump that wants to defund the police.
If you watch the ads, I'm sure you've seen them, although a lot of Pennsylvanians are seeing them because there's a lot of ads out there right now. They would say that you want to defund the police, and it seems to be trying to frighten some folks. Can you set the record straight on that?
I not only don't want to defund the police, I'm the one calling for $300 million more for local police, for community policing. I also think we should add social workers and psychologists help police on 911 calls. The only person calling to defund the police is Donald Trump. Look at his budget. He calls for cutting police funding for state and local help by $400 million. Once again, he's pathological.
He's pathological?
Why the hell would I take a test?
He's pathological?
Come on, man.
This is unbelievable. And will the mainstream media, well, of course they won't, question him on this or follow up with a fact check on this? Of course they won't. I just want to question, why is it that every police organization is endorsing Donald Trump? I just throw that out for consideration.
Yeah, I don't think American people's going to buy that from Joe on this.
I mean, it's so ridiculous. It makes him look like he is a stooge.
Well, I think I got a new nickname for him. You know, growing up, I watched the Andy Griffith show. I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
Remember the mayor on Andy Griffith? He was always, you know, after the fact when everything was known. Andy, I tried to tell you.
Yeah,
I tried to tell you.
yeah.
So now all of a sudden, you know, Biden he knows it all. But
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Mayor,
Come on, man.
yeah, unbelievable. So Joe Biden, aka Cousin Eddie, continues to make these bizarre comments, like the one he just made. How Trump is in. I mean, he says it all every day. You know, he'll talk about he did nothing on COVID, and he came out, and we'll get to the book that came out today, accusing Donald Trump of downplaying COVID. And of course, Joe Biden said of that, he lied to the American people. But you know, he's constantly coming out and saying that Donald Trump is. He and his followers are the ones that are doing the violence. That you know, which is really and of course the whole COVID thing, that he didn't do enough for COVID, which is really interesting because early on, Joe Biden was accusing Trump of being a xenophobe because he was cutting off travel from China. And you know, I've usually thought that Cousin Eddie was just overstating these things for political gain. But then I heard this, cut one.
You know, all of a sudden they found out you had thousands of employees making an hourly wage having to sign non-compete agreements. So if you worked at Burger King, you have to sign a non-compete agreement. You would not go across town to McDonald's to try to get 5 more cents in your hourly wage. All designed to do nothing, just to keep wages down. You could not go. It's not like you had a secret that was consequential and you couldn't give away that secret because it's a high-tech industry to another industry you go to work for. These are people making an hourly wage, just doing just their job. And they were told they couldn't even bargain for themselves, let alone have a union do it.
I didn't realize that. I learn more stuff from Joe every day. That if you worked at Burger King or McDonald's, you're so important, they make you sign a non-compete agreement.
Oh, my.
I've never heard of that. No.
Well, I don't think it exists. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, does this idiot not think that everybody? I mean, how many people somewhere in their life has worked at a McDonald's or a Burger King? Probably at least half the population, and they're all looking at Joe and saying, "Are you an idiot?" Now, granted, the reason why he said that is because he is in the union's pocket. And, you know, they want to unionize all these fast food restaurants. You know, they want to make, you know, a minimum of $20 an hour or whatever it is. And you know, he's tipping the hat to that, but he looks like such a buffoon. He is a buffoon. So now, if you work at McDonald's, according to Joe, you have to sign a non-compete agreement. That's how important that job is.
Well, you know, Joe's so critical of Trump during that time, early on in the COVID crisis. I mean, it was hibernation time for Joe. You know,
Yeah.
He didn't know what was going on. We never saw him. So,
well, you know, I don't know if you got to realize that for the last 50 years, Joe hasn't kept a real job. He has lived in the Washington bubble for the last 50 years. So, I mean, has he ever worked in the private sector? I mean, the only time he's worked in the private sector was when he was the lifeguard and the little children were rubbing his hairy legs and sitting on his lap.
it seemed like he worked for the DA's office maybe a couple of years, but
that's not the private sector.
Yeah, and then private practice for like maybe a year or something.
Huh.
But
well, and one wonders if you could go back and really find the truth. Was it because he couldn't make it in the private sector? Because he flip-flopped back and forth, and he says, I was worked at the DA's office because I was so in love with serving the public kind of stuff. But anyway, we got to take a time out. Lots more to talk about, and yet there is another story that we want to get to about Democrats throwing it up against the wall to see if it sticks, to see if they can take down Donald Trump. They're desperate. That's the good news. It's infuriating, I know, but the good news is they're showing how desperate they are. Stay with us. Benny and I will be right back.
Transworld Business Advisors is the largest and fastest growing business brokerage and M&A firm in the world. And my buddy Tony Corey and his wife Jarma have brought this wonderful company to Greenville and northeastern North Carolina. Tony, tell us about Transworld Business Advisors.
Thanks, Henry. Basically, our Transworld team here in eastern North Carolina confidentially helps both buyers and sellers with the purchase or sale of a business.
So, Tony, what's the process that a buyer or a seller would go through in working with you?
The best way for us to analyze what their need is for them to call us, because Transworld's been in business for over 40 years, and we can customize an approach that's right for them. For more information, you can check out our website at www.transworldeast.com, or you can call me personally on my cell phone at 252-347-9606 or transworldeast.com.
Transworld Business Advisors.
No one needs long car rides when they're feeling sick, so it's good to know Vidant offers quality care close to home. For help with colds and flu, see doctors online at vidantnow.com or visit our immediate care clinics for sprains and pains. And when it's more serious or life-threatening, go to the closest ER at your local Vidant hospital. With this many choices so near, you're always close to feeling better. Learn more at vidanthealth.com/carelocal.
Smitty's Restaurant is back open every day for breakfast and lunch from 5:30 to 2. Smitty's is back with their great biscuits and full breakfast items every morning and their great country cooking for lunch at the Country Mart location on Highway 11 between Greenville and Bethel. And don't forget, Country Mart stores are now the home of Shell gasoline. Save 5 cents per gallon on your first 20 gallons with gold status. And remember, Country Mart has your 93-octane non-ethanol premium for boats, lawnmowers, and other small engines. Country Mart Highway 11, where Smitty's is now open, and Highway 903 in Stokes.
Hey guys, this is Larry King. Are you sick and tired of prostate pills that don't work? I've got great news for you. I had prostate problems that were driving me nuts. I tried several different natural products. None of them worked. One day I heard about Prostagenics. It beat over 157 other prostate supplements in independent lab tests and was rated #1 most powerful prostate supplement in the world. So I got some Prostagenics, and boy, am I glad I did. Now my prostate troubles are a thing of the past. I sleep like a champ. I feel like I did 20 years ago. Do yourself a huge favor. Do what I did and get yourself some Prostagenics.
Prostagenics comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee, so you can order absolutely risk-free. So go online or call 800-600-2020. 800-600-2020. If you call in the next 6 minutes, you can get a free bottle with a Larry King TV special. 800-600-2020.
Pick up the phone right now.
News and views.
He's kind of a diva. He's absolutely fascinating.
Ultimate gentleman spy. Irresistible to women, deadly to his enemies, a legend in his own time.
You won't believe what he's going to say next on Talk 96.3 and 103.7. Here's Tom Lamprecht.
Take a look at your weather forecast. A chance of showers and thunderstorms tonight, although the rain will begin to ebb away. Chance of rain later tonight, only 30%. Tomorrow, pretty much like today, with a chance of rain of 60%, a high near 85. Thursday night, more of the same. And Friday, more of the same. So if you like rain, the good news is, I guess we need it, and it's just sort of going to come and go, so you're going to have to dodge the showers. 561-8255. Alex up in Hereford has something he wants to add to the Joe Biden story. Hey, Alex.
Hey, Tom. How you doing tonight?
Doing great. Good to have you with us.
Hey. Yeah, I just heard you playing that soundbite about Joe Biden talking about Burger King and McDonald's with the non-compete agreement.
Right.
Yeah, every time he opens his mouth, he sounds more and more like a dunce.
Well.
That's true. But now, I actually have worked for a place in North Carolina in a hockey where I did actually have to sign a non-compete agreement.
Was it a fast food restaurant?
No, it wasn't. It was a wood processing facility.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, and when I was there, I was making $15, $16 an hour. But yeah, I was a little bit more skilled than just a fast food worker, just a regular cashier or something.
Yeah, I mean, I can see, depending on what the job is, if there's competition in the area and the business is spending a fair amount of time and resources to train you in a certain area, I could see how they might request that. Now, I'm not an attorney, so anybody out there listening, don't take this as legal advice, but my understanding is some of these non-compete agreements are pretty hard to enforce. But I could see how a business might say that, especially if there's competition in the area and they're investing a lot of money into you. So,
yeah.
But I don't think that would really apply to Burger King. Just saying.
I don't think so.
No. Hey, Alex, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. 561-8255 if you want to join us. So the other story that is a throw it up against the wall to see if it sticks is Bob Woodworth, one of the guys that did All the President's Men, took down one of the guys that took down Nixon and Watergate. He's got a new book that just came out, and Donald Trump addressed that today, saying it was just another political hit job. Trump said he knew the coronavirus was deadly, but went to great lengths to downplay the virus in the public. Now, the whole controversy about this is Bob Woodworth has come out and said, and apparently he's got the audio. He's had the audio since March, and it's up on his website or the Washington Post website, so you can go there and listen to it. But what he is saying is that Donald Trump said to him in an interview early on in the coronavirus, I think it went all the way back to perhaps even January, that apparently from what they understood at the time about the coronavirus is that it can be highly contagious. You can catch it by just breathing the air that somebody else has breathed. And it's a very dangerous, deadly virus. And now they're all over him, accusing him of lying to the public because he, quote, downplayed how deadly it was. Well, the guy's the president. I mean, in all honesty, whether it would be a Democrat or a Republican, now I understand that those people that are opposed to Donald Trump, they're going to, again, try to throw this against the wall, hope it sticks. But two questions come to mind. If this was really newsworthy, then why didn't Bob Woodworth come out with this? Woodward, not Woodworth, Woodward. Why didn't he come out with this back when he got it, back in January? Why is he waiting till now?
Yeah,
well, you know the answer.
Oh yeah, I mean I've listened to Bob a lot because I'm I was a Watergate freak as a child. Just loved reading everything about it. But every time I hear Bob Woodward talk, I mean he's not objective at all when it comes to Donald Trump.
Oh, he hates the guy.
And I guess Bob's just got a big ego because if Robert Redford played me in a movie, I guess I'd have a big ego, So.
I don't know. Have you seen Robert Redford lately? He didn't look too good. But so they come out and they're trying to make a big deal about how this guy's a liar, and the fact that Donald Trump said early on that this is like the flu. This is very much like the flu. 190,000 people have now passed away from the coronavirus. And again, we've had a lot of reports just in the last couple of weeks that unless you're morbidly obese or unless you have some bad pre-existing conditions that make you highly susceptible, unless you're extremely old, the chances of you dying are slim to none if you're not in any of those categories. And the vast, vast majority of people who have passed away because of the coronavirus, the vast majority have had those issues. But to put it in reference, so 190,000 people have died from the coronavirus, and that's bad. That's sad. But again, these people, I'm not trying to sound callous, but these people had issues to begin with. In 2017, this is from the CDC. Go look it up if you don't believe me. In 2017, there were 80,000 people that died from the influenza flu. So half as many, but still, that's a huge number. In 2017, the same year, heart disease, number of people that died were 647,457. Cancer, 599,108. Chronic lower respiratory disease, 160,201. Stroke, 146,383. Alzheimer's, 121,404. Diabetes, 83,564. The only point I'm making is, and most of those people who died probably also had some bad underlying conditions They weren't healthy, obese, elderly. I'm not trying just to say, shrug my shoulder and say, what's the big deal? It's too bad. It's sad that it came. It's sad we had to shut down the entire nation for it. But it's a part of life. And the fact that they're trying to just go head over heels and say that this president was just a liar and he could have done more is ridiculous. And again, they're throwing it up against the wall and seeing if it sticks. And Joe Biden comes out today and says that President Trump knowingly and willingly lied to the nation about the coronavirus.
We know early on they said President Trump, with his efforts, he was a xenophobe, he was this and that, and then all of a sudden they said it was going to be 2.5 million deaths. So
oh yeah. We turned out pretty good.
So now that we're less than 10% of what they were predicting, is that good for Trump or bad for Trump? So the Democrats don't have any credibility in these arguments.
No, and again, there's also been studies that out in the last couple of weeks that have talked about the number of people who have died not from the coronavirus, but from the shutdown because of the coronavirus. 5618255. Let's go to Al. He's on line one. Hey, Al.
Hey, guys. Good afternoon. My question is, why is Trump going and talking to Bob Woodward? I mean, it's like we want to lose. I mean, I guess that's what just shocks me is, we talk about this and we realize, is Bob Woodward going to give us good press? No. I mean, it's almost like he wants to lose sometimes because, I don't care if Jesus went and talked to the Washington Post. They're not going to give a Republican good press.
Well, I think I hear what you're saying, and I think that's a valid point. But I think it's Donald Trump's modus operandi. I mean, he lives to go on the offensive, and if you're going to come at him, and look, he's won. I mean, I'm not saying that he's won this coming election, but I'm saying in the past, his going on the offensive when something comes up instead of just shrugging it off and pretending it's not there, for the most part, it has served him well. Now, there's a lot of pushback from the other side because they don't like it that he doesn't roll over and play dead, but he didn't put up with it.
I just think we're crazy to keep going on these types of mediums. We need to use our own medium, and so we kind of get what we deserve.
Now he didn't go. Oh, you mean you're talking about the original interview back when he interviewed when Bob Woodward interviewed him late last winter when it first came out. Yes, that's okay. I thought you were talking about today's comments. Yes, that is a very valid point, Al. I thought the same thing when I read this article. Why would you sit down and do an interview with Bob Woodward? Now, he said today, because he's extremely transparent, he has nothing to hide. But yeah, you're right. They're going to take a hiccup and try to make a story out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just where, CNN's been reporting it all day, and they've got tapes of him talking about this stuff, and it's like we get what we deserve. I mean, if he's going to go on with Bob Woodward, they're going to find something. So I mean, it is what it is, guys. I mean, I'm just floored sometimes when he does stuff like this because we're not going to win.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, my original comments were, I thought you were talking about today's comments from Trump. But yes, I agree with you. Why you would go there in the first place? I mean, the Huckabee's daughter, Sarah Sanders, she went on The View today. Why would any conservative go on that terrible program? And there's no way they're going to treat you well. I mean, you actually think you're going to go on there and win votes? When their whole goal is to make you look like a buffoon?
Yep, and they're going to make you look like a buffoon. So it's like, sometimes I think Trump doesn't want to get reelected. I do. I just think he does, I support the man, but some of the things you just shake your head like, come on, somebody with about an 11th grade education should have told him, no, Mr. President, this is not a good place to go. You don't need to do this.
That is a very valid point, Al. Appreciate the call. 561-8255. By the way, speaking of Donald Trump, Henry Hinton is going to have Donald Trump Jr. on his program tomorrow morning at 8:20. So Henry got a biggie tomorrow. 561-8255. Donald Trump, by the way, has been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. And the guy that I'm going to hack up his name, Christian Tybring-Jetty. He is a member of the Norwegian parliament. And he said he believes Trump should be considered because of his work for peace agreement between United Arab Emirates and Israel, which opens up for possible peace in the Middle East. No matter how Trump acts at home or what he says, the member of parliament said, he has absolutely a chance of getting the Nobel Peace Prize, so said this Christian Tybring Jetty. I hate to say it. Now remember, Barack Obama won the Nobel Peace Prize, and this guy said, well, he didn't do anything. I mean, and in fact, one of the guys that was on the board that appoints or decides who gets the Nobel Peace Prize, they're actually looking back now at the fact that Barack Obama got it, and they're saying, we blew that one. That was just a terrible decision that we made. And this guy is saying, look, if Barack Obama got it, Donald Trump ought to get it. You know, what's interesting about this, though, is, again, when it came out that that Donald Trump had gotten the peace agreement between the United Arab Emirates and Israel, Joe Biden and the Obama-Biden administration didn't do anything to help that cause. In fact, they hindered the cause by getting in bed with Iran and giving them all that money. And yet Joe Biden a couple of weeks ago, well, you know, that was because of the work we did. Unbelievable.
Well, you know, Barack Obama was, you know, when he received it, he was actually embarrassed. It was noticeably, he was kind of embarrassed that he
should have been.
And, but
he should have given the money to charity. I don't know what he did with it, but I don't think he gave it to, I think he went up and bought that place at Martha's Vineyard with it.
An interesting thing this morning, I started reading some of the articles about the nomination, and of course I don't ever print anything out, but you know they always change these online articles, particularly some of the mainstream media. But on one of them this morning, the Norwegian guy was a conservative. This afternoon, he's a far right
nut. Yeah,
I mean, so it's just kind of funny how it changes during the day.
If it doesn't work for their narrative, they'll put a label on them. 5618255. We're going to take a time out. When we come back, we'll get to your phone calls. Hang on there. I promise we'll get to you. 5618255. We'll be right back.
GoEco is the office equipment company that people all over eastern North Carolina are turning to for their office copier and equipment needs. GoEco sells and services Canon copiers and office products. They have a great service team that's quick to respond when you need them. We here at Interbanks Media just made the switch to GoEco, and they're saving us money in printing cost. Other businesses in and around Greenville are making the switch too. Dirk's Chiropractic switched over a year ago and saved money. GoEco bought out their existing lease, and Dirk's Chiropractic received better products fitting their needs. In fact, GoEco has saved local clients who have switched over $178,000. Oh, and some businesses might qualify for no payments until 2021. Call Area Sales Director Tom Watkins at GoEco for a free consultation today. 252-227-0581 or email info@goeconc.com. Save money by switching to GoEco.
It's summertime, and there's no better time to drive away in a quality pre-owned car or truck from Greenville Auto World. Let Greenville Auto World show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Greenville. We believe fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right leads to satisfied, repeat buyers. Are you planning that summer trip by car? Well, get yourself set with an oil change and 27-point inspection. Greenville Auto World, 3840 South Charles Boulevard, across from Hardee's at Bells Fork.
I'm here with my good friend Scott Shook of the Shook Rouse Group of BB&T Scott and Stringfellow. Scott, what are the main philosophies that you and Thomas follow to help your clients?
Henry, we start by talking with our clients about their financial goals. Once we have an understanding of what they want to accomplish, we advise them on investing their assets in a manner they can be comfortable with through good times and bad. We firmly believe that asset allocation, diversification, and rebalancing are the only long-term strategies, not timing the market.
Scott, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
That's easy, Henry. Just give us a call at 252-378-3299.
BB&T Scott & Stringfellow is a division of BB&T Securities LLC, member FINRA SIPC. BB&T Securities is a wholly owned non-bank subsidiary of Truist Financial Corporation. Securities and insurance products or annuities sold, offered, or recommended are not a deposit, not FDIC insured, not guaranteed by a bank, not insured by any federal government agency, and may lose value. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. Asset allocation cannot eliminate the risk of fluctuating prices and uncertain returns. Diversifying investments does not insure against market loss.
Has your house gone from being a home to a hassle? Are the repairs piling up, along with the bills? Feeling weighed down by the debt, worry, and confusion? Well, we have a solution for you. Introducing Tire Realty Group's exclusive new program, TRG Offers. Unlike traditional real estate, there are no commissions, no repairs, no showings, no open houses, and best of all, you get to choose the closing date. So give us a call or visit our website. Tell us about your house, and you could receive a cash offer within as little as 72 hours. Call Tire Realty Group, 252-758-4663, or visit trgoffers.com.
Back to the show that really makes you think.
He is a genius.
He's all powerful.
He brought a kind of heat.
He could be the best.
Just don't hurt yourself, okay? More news and views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Welcome back in, 561-8255. Let's go down to New Bern. We have Rob on the line. Hey, Rob.
Hi, good afternoon. So yesterday I was listening to a report. This report was from the Centers for Disease Control stating that 6% of all the COVID-related deaths were truly related to the death from the coronavirus. And so today when I heard you mentioning 190,000, I thought, well, maybe if we were to look at that with a 6% correction factor that the CDC has admitted is the case,
yep,
we could even look at this and say, well, he did a better than 10% reduction, a 10% of a 10% reduction of the 2 million that was originally forecasted. And I know it's a little bit late in the story, it moved on, but when I heard you mention 190,000, I wanted to say, wait a moment.
No, that's a great point. So that would be basically 11,400 people have died from the coronavirus and nothing else. That is, and I have my calculator, but I'm not that good of a mathematician. But yeah, that's a great point.
So, for example, if a person was in an automobile accident and decapitated, not to be morbid, but they also had the coronavirus, they were written down as COVID because it meant coronavirus-involved death. Meaning they had the virus, regardless of what they died from.
Well, and there is a financial incentive that if you are listed as a coronavirus death, that the government will send more money your way. I mean, this is bizarre, but it's so. And there have been all kinds of stories. Early on, we had stories about people who a woman, her mother had passed away, and in the funeral home, they had listed it as a coronavirus death, and they said she never had the coronavirus. And it's how many of those? And again, the CDC saying it's 6% of the total, but is the total itself erroneous just in terms of people being listed dying of the coronavirus when they didn't even have it? They wouldn't even have tested positive. But at best, according to the CDC, you're right. It's 6%, so it'd be 11,400. Great point.
Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed that there's been multiple documented cases in states where I mean, they've confirmed if you die with a positive COVID test,
regardless,
it's a COVID death.
Right.
So,
and again, I was talking to a young lady who is a student over at East Carolina University just recently, within the last couple of weeks, and I said, do you know anybody that has tested positive? And she said, oh, yeah, I know plenty of people. There's one sorority over there. Everybody in the sorority's tested positive. And I said, do you know anybody that's sick in bed, or had to go to the hospital, or had to go to the ICU? Nope.
Well, I don't know if you noticed today, Dr. Greg Murphy posted, I believe on either his website or his Facebook page, he listed, it's probably 17, 18 universities, about 28,000 cases. East Carolina was in there. And out of 26 or 8,000 cases, there were 0 hospitalizations.
Zero.
And
if there was a hospitalization, that would be blaring in the headlines. That's all we would hear about.
And to his point, he says, hey, it's safer to keep them in school instead of sending them home.
Yeah.
with a positive case, and maybe see their grandparents or parents. So,
great call, Rob. Thanks. 561-8255. Let's go to Matt. Hey, Matt.
Hello, Tom. How are you?
Doing well. Good to hear from you.
I miss Sadie. Where is she?
She is up in Daleville, Virginia, up outside of Roanoke. It's been her desire for some time, and her husband's, to go up into the mountains of, somewhere in the mountains, and they picked Daleville, Virginia, which I've got a uncle up in Roanoke. It's a beautiful part of the country. We'll be hearing from her from time to time. She'll be checking in with us once in a while, but yeah.
Well, God bless her. And I just wanted to say I consider myself sort of an amateur historian, very amateur. But anyway, I've read a lot about World War II, and I want to go back to the Bob Woodward controversy, or whatever you call it.
Sure.
I don't
Propaganda,
know if you remember. That's a good word for it. But Winston Churchill, who I consider probably the greatest leader of the 20th century, I don't know if you know this, but he had a system of trying to keep the people calm. In fact, in his subway systems, or in London's subway system, they used to put up signs, "Keep calm, keep calm." And he did that for a reason, not to, he didn't want to panic the people.
Right.
But when I hear Trump say that he was trying to keep the people calm during the coronavirus, that's exactly what he should have been doing. I consider that good leadership.
Exactly.
And that's what a leader should do. So this when they say he wasn't telling the truth about coronavirus, well, yeah, he was telling the truth about it, but he was also trying to keep the public at large calm. I mean, what was Trump supposed to do? Run out there and run around in a circle in a panic and start yelling and screaming? No, that's what a good leader does.
Well, and in hindsight, he was, his calmness was validified in the sense that, okay, it wasn't as big of a deal. As Benny just pointed out, what were the original estimates? That we're going to lose 2.5 million? And
That's
maybe
exactly
it's as low as
right.
11,000?
He didn't get way in front of the story. In other words, he was trying to assess the information as it was coming in, and at the same time keep the people calm. No, don't freak them out.
Yep.
And that to me, that's a good leader.
Exactly.
And the one more.
Great point,
Exactly.
Matt. Great point. 561-8255. Thanks for the call, and I agree with him. Isn't that what a leader's supposed to do? You've got a juggling act. And the idea that the Democrats are now going to come out and Joe Biden's going to come out, he's a liar. No, he was a leader.
Do you remember they emphasized at the beginning that they didn't know anything about the coronavirus? Nobody knew anything, so how could he be lying about something that nobody knew of in the first place?
Well, the point from Woodward, it was the fact that, well, he was telling me it was deadly, and he was telling the public, let's not panic. So that's why they're trying to hang him on that.
Well, early on, what was it? Slow the spread. We're not going to stop it. Slow the spread to stop the peak in hospitalizations.
And who's lying when you constantly are moving the goalposts?
Right.
And that's exactly what our governor here is doing. That okay, well, our desire is just to make sure the hospitals aren't overcrowded. Well, they're so undercrowded, they're going bankrupt. But the governor somehow, when we accomplish that, well, now we've got to look at the science and data, which is a bunch of hooey. We've got to take another time out. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Jim Clement from Town Insurance is with me in the studio. Jim, this has been an interesting time for everyone. What has Town Insurance done differently during the crisis?
First, Henry, we've tried to put our people first, make sure that they're safe in their working environment, and we've been able to adopt a policy where people are working remotely from home on a rotational basis. Secondly, we've got to be realistic about the situation we're dealing with. We're all being impacted one way or the other by this pandemic, and we've got to acknowledge the reality of the situation and try to stay positive for our employees as well as our clients.
You work with a lot of different insurance carriers, Jim. What are they doing for your clients right now?
Each of these carriers is trying to establish what is the new normal, and that means being flexible in payments and being adaptable to change.
You guys are the best, Jim. We appreciate your information and what you're doing for your clients right now. For more information, call Town Insurance at 252-756-8300. And as Jim always says,
it's time to come to town.
4 decades have passed since the first Albemarle boat hit the water. Today, with more than 3,800 hulls to their credit, Albemarle continues handcrafting their boats one at a time. Members of Albemarle's founding families remain at the helm of the company, and they operate on the same guiding principles on which the company started. They call it Albemarle Built, and it summarizes the people, techniques, materials, experience, and testing that goes into every boat they build. Albemarle has been on a product development roll, introducing 5 new models in just over 3 years. If you've not seen an Albemarle lately, you owe it to yourself to check out the company's semi-custom dual consoles and offshore expresses from 25 to 41 feet. Visit Harris Marine in Morehead City or Bellhart Marine in Wilmington, or make an appointment to tour the Edenton facility. For more information, contact Albemarle Boats, the Carolina Classic, 252-482-7600. Check out all the models online at albemarleboats.com.
How much does the word reliable mean? Sure, all businesses describe themselves as reliable, and we certainly wouldn't expect any business to be unreliable, but when you take a word like reliable and make it your way of life, the entire core of your business, it tends to mean a little more. And it's something you have to show people, not tell them. At Delcor, we show it by being there the same day you call. We show it by simply doing outstanding work with exceptional products, a family-oriented work ethic, and genuine caring for all of our neighbors throughout Eastern NC. Because in a time of need, we know the first and the only thing you need is someone you can count on. That's why we only use equipment you can count on too, like a train comfort system. It's hard to stop a train. Delcor can have a new train comfort system installed in no time, or we can provide an AC tune-up to make sure your system is performing well. So will your system keep you cool all summer? Find out. Call us. We're Delcor, the service professionals. Reliable for over 4 decades. Visit DelcorInc.com today.
Delcor, independent train comfort specialist dealer.
Let your voice be heard this November. Register to vote now at vote.gov.
I suppose it would be my civic duty.
From Talk 96.3 and 103.7, here's Tom Lamprecht with more news and views.
Welcome back in. It is 9 minutes before the top of the hour. The governor of Michigan, Democrat Governor Gretchen Whitmer, she's been all over Donald Trump on the wall. Back in 2017, what a huge waste of money. $40 billion for a wall. Think about how many kids that would educate, how many roads and bridges and pipes we could fix. What's interesting, and it doesn't work. She said the wall won't work. Well, it's pretty obvious she was wrong on that. I mean, all the numbers are going in the right direction where the wall is, and the wall is working marvelously. But what's really interesting about this, guess where they're building a wall right now? It's not actually a wall. It's an electrified fence. $1.1 million around her residence. Yeah, around her residence, because people are, they might be coming after her. So a wall won't work at the southern border, but it'll work around her residence.
One of the Democrats today, it might have been Joe Biden, was just going over a quick list of talking points, and they actually said something about Donald Trump and the terrorism threat on our southern border, not looking after them. Wait, what? What?
Yeah, it is amazing how the things that they're guilty of, they're trying to project onto Donald Trump.
Well, someone told me today that you look at most of the time when people are accusing you of something, they've already done it. So.
Yeah. That's why they're so familiar with it.
Yeah.
Actually, a little bit of good news today. I'm so sick and tired of these reports where people come in and they're harassing Trump supporters, knocking them down, stealing their signs, grabbing their hats, ripping their posters up. 2 women, now they probably won't happen, but they could be spending a total of 15 years in prison, according to Delaware Online. 2 Delaware women are accused of stealing a MAGA hat from a 7-year-old outside the Democratic National Convention. They were indicted yesterday on charges including second-degree robbery and felony hate crimes. Olivia Winslow and Cameron Amy, both 21. Yeah, the thing is so irritating about this, and the thing that they don't get is they're breaking the law, but they think so many people on social media will pat them on the back, the mainstream media will make heroes out of them. You're breaking the law. And finally, it looks like somebody said, you know what, we're not going to put up with it anymore. So they're out on bail right now, but according to the DA, The violence in any form is unacceptable, and not the Delaware Attorney General, Kathy Jennings, said this. Violence in any form is unacceptable, but harming another person, let alone a child, because of the expression of their views betrays the principle on which our country was founded. And these women, I sort of doubt they'll go to jail, but I hope the fear of God is put into them.
I guess Kamala Harris to raise bail money for her. Huh?
Probably so, or some of the Biden support, the campaign workers. The Daily Wire is reporting a 12-year-old Colorado Springs, Colorado boy received a 5-day suspension from school. Why? Because one of his teachers spotted a toy gun during an online art class. So this kid's online. She sees, you can see each other on Zoom. They're doing an art class. She looks at this kid's picture and she sees a gun in the picture. A toy gun, obviously a toy gun. It was one of those Nerf guns. My grandsons have them. She calls up the principal and the superintendent. They suspend the boy for 5 days because guns are not allowed, toys or otherwise. This is online. The principal actually said, well, this is consistent because we don't want to put these other children in harm's way. You're online, you moron. So then... this is unbelievable. Then they contact the El Paso County Sheriff's Office to conduct a welfare check on the family. No. Yes. No. This is unbelievable. The little boy, Elliot was his name. To say the least, his parents were ticked. And what even makes it more interesting, we'll see where this falls out. The family's black, and they are ticked off. And can you imagine? So the little boy has got a little Nerf gun in the background, and they report him. Political correctness is unbelievable. Makes your head spin.
It's a mental disorder.
It is a mental disorder. Hey, thanks for being with us. Thanks for the phone calls. The Throw It Up Against the Wall program is done for today, but I have a hunch we'll have some more between now and Election Day. They'll try anything to take down this president. Again, the good news is they're desperate. Stay with us again the rest of the week. We'll play political trivia tomorrow. We'll see you then at 5 o'clock. Bye-bye, everybody.
Hunting season